No, now he's done. Now he has done. Okay, done. Enough is calculating. Okay, so previous, 10:30 class, we have completed the tariff, right? Non-tariff and tariff we completed. So this is the new module 4. We are rushing, obviously. The 3 modules, as I say, I am not saying that I have discussed in class each and every topic, but the topics which you will be able to understand, that, I'll give you just the materials. These are what we need to discuss, right? These are things later, Priyanka and Navya.
I am writing notes, ma'am.
Sorry.
It's okay, ma'am. That day also you missed with me.
My sincere apologies.
I am teaching.
Okay, now your module 4 starts with the most important thing, that is the theories of international trade. So there are some theories given by renowned management professionals which are related to international trade. So what are those theories basically? These are the theories what you need to remember. If you want to mug it up. You cannot change anything, right? Okay. Theory of absolute cost advantage, theory of competitive cost advantage, factor endowment theory, theory of competitive advantage, product life cycle theory. Now, product life cycle, what you study PLC, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. It's different, right? It's from the perspective of international business. Theory of identical preferences, product differentiation, and outlet for domestic surplus. These are the theories, and these are very important from your exam perspective as well. Internal, it will be there for sure. 100%, 200%, it will be there in your internals. Fine, 10 marks. As well as 95% chance that it will be there in your
Final exam.
Yes, fine. Now I'll send you this.
Important.
Okay, I'll send this thing. No problem. Fine. Now.
I don't see.
Where is this?
Economics.
Everyone is it. Who is Adam Smith? Okay, Adam Smith is.
Father of economics.
Sit. Fine. Now, these are the basis of international trade theories. Or we can say that because of this reason, international trade theories came into picture. Now, what are the reasons? Obviously, the first and foremost thing what we discussed in the first class itself, first class means your first class of your MBA marketing. The main reason is nothing but the human needs and wants. Right? We discussed that, there is no existence of market, there is no existence of product until and unless there is no human needs and wants. Now we all know that human needs and wants, these are unlimited, these are varied, and obviously these are changeable at any point of time, right? Just think of ourselves. What was our need and wants when we were in KG, LKG, UKG? I don't remember also. When we were in school, you also don't remember, even in school, our needs and wants were different, right? If we talk about some accessories, maybe it was different kind of bag, pencil box, water bottle, tiffin box, and that was.
Fine.
Band, is it? That I didn't have. I'm a little bit older than you. So. Band generation, I didn't go. For our generation, it is. For our no, not even for our generation, even till class 9, 10 also, it was very much important for us to buy different bags. different pen
Boxes.
pencil boxes. Under pencil boxes, even the compound pencil box. I mean, yeah, one step, two steps, so many things. Okay, Ashna the boom boom pencil I had. Okay. That used to be in my not in my pencil box, in my tiffin box. That used to be. Okay, and another used to be you will push here, the ball will go and jump that side. It used to be that was my needed one. Honestly speaking, I mean, till a long period of time, these were my needs and wants. Honestly speaking, eraser, those color, not only color eraser, fruits like eraser with that fragrance. Everything. I mean, those were our needs and wants. When you were there in college, your needs and wants changed. Uh,
Sparkle pencil is talking about.
See, now your change in wants when you ended up in college, it was nothing but mobile phones. Like different mobile phones, laptops, for nickel camera. Okay, so it is different needs and wants, right? See, till honestly speaking, till my MBA also my needs and wants was not mobile phone. I mean, you can ask sir, even Abhishek sir also. I used to use a mobile phone, Samsung, keypad mobile phone in my MBA, and that mobile phone's back was not there. Somehow it fell in drain. So the battery I used to stick with a sellotape, and that was my mobile phone. Not only mine, even I still remember Abhishek sir's mobile phone got lost. We went to eat some juice or something nearby store, and there he lost his phone. He didn't have his own phone also. One old keypad phone, one of our classmates gave him to use. That is what he used to. That phone. So our needs and wants different. No, I mean, Sachin, it's not at all wrong if your needs and wants are different. The reason is that customer life cycle should understand. You should remember this
Like
thing.
how
We
our
discussed in
parents-
MCV.
How our parents used to tell stories, we used to walk there.
I'll never say that I crossed the mountains to go to school. No. My father used to drop.
Our generation, we used to keep at mobile in college.
We use. Because
That's another story now.
I mean, just think of the smartphones and all. This. I mean, when did you buy your phone?
Before 2 years.
2 years before that, same kind of classification features were there. Same. I'm talking to you 2012, 13, 14, 15 time. That time, obviously, it was very much okay to have a keypad phone. Right? Okay. So, this human needs and wants, these are going to change. Now, what are your needs and wants? Obviously, after 5 years, it will be completely different. Now, if you ask me, my needs and wants have also changed, right? It's completely changed. Yours will also be changed. Now, understand one thing, to provide everything in order to require those needs, wants, and requirements of your customer base. Not necessarily that your country is self-sufficient in producing the required goods, right? Not at all it is possible. No single country can possess everything required to produce the products which is required by your customer base. No single country. In that case, it will be completely against the rule of business, right? You just think we are not self-sufficient. I mean, we can say as a motivational speaker, Inam can say as a motivational speaker that we are self-sufficient. But at the end of the day, we are not. And that's why you are sitting here, right? And that's why even I am learning from my IIT professors itself. Because I'm also not self-sufficient. I can also not give you everything. Correct? Like the way no single country can possess everything required to produce all the products required by the customer base. All the countries are compelled to become interdependent on each other. What I'm not having, she may have the same thing. but she is not having, he may have the same, right? So this is how we have to, all the countries have to interdependent on each other, and those countries have to extract the resources, the raw materials from those countries which are necessary in order to produce the products or the services to satisfy the needs and wants of your country people. That's all. And that is the reason actually this international trade theories have come into picture. These international trade theories are going to tell that on what circumstances or on based on what the countries can become interdependent on each other, right? Not necessarily that you have to interdependent for each and everything to the foreign countries. Something you are having, something you are not having. Only for that not having part you have to depend it. Correct? What about the having part? How will you be able to utilize that having part? And when you have to depend on the other countries, on what circumstances? All these things have been described with the help of this international trade theories. Now the first, anyways, the basis is picture. Is it clear? You can write. There might be a question also. Explain the difference between domestic and international business. That is, difference between domestic business and international business. And what are the basis of international trade or international trade theories? You have to discuss these points with the help of your own words, with the help of your own explanation. You can, yes, difference between domestic and international, that I will. No problem. I forgot to bring my copy, otherwise you can click the pin. Anyways, the first theory is theory of absolute cost advantage. As it is written, it was given by Adam Smith, right? And as Maxwell said that Adam Smith is father of economics. That's why economics is an integral part of management. Fine. So what Adam Smith said regarding absolute cost advantage? Adam Smith said that this absolute cost advantage you can achieve when as a country you will be able to use very minimal number of inputs in order to produce per unit of output, right? And this inputs should be less than the other countries. What he wanted to say that, for example, your input or you have abundance or you have advantage in inputs like capital, labor, land, raw material, etc. These are the inputs generally. In order to create an output, these are the inputs, correct? Yes, you have to create a product. For that, obviously, you need capital. Otherwise, how will you do your business? You need skill, human resource, labor. You need land because you need a manufacturing plant. Even if it is not a manufacturing plant, you are outsourcing, but still you have to do your operations. For that, you need a setup. Land is required. If you are manufacturing by yourself, raw materials are required. That is also input, correct? Adam Smith said that when as a country you will be able to say that, okay, I have absolute cost advantage, then maybe XYZ country. When you will be able to say that?
When do you produce the raw material? When you have your own raw material?
Not at all.
When export is more than import.
Not at all. Export is more than import, doesn't
When
matter.
the specific country,
That
for
is
example,
BOD.
India is able to produce a specific product in excess.
That is
Other
surplus. That is surplus. Can be used. That is,
When you already have the infra and all labor available.
do you really think that all these inputs are going to be available with one country?
Maybe
Asian countries, we are efficient in human resource. Are we efficient in raw material? Are we efficient in technology? No. Does it mean that we do not have competitive cost advantage or absolute cost advantage? We do not have. If we do not have, then we cannot run the business. Every country should have absolute cost advantage. Now, that is what Adam Smith said that see, then Priyanka. Sorry. The thing is that whenever you do something, that only I can see.
No problem.
That's
I'm habituated.
right. Okay. Okay. Now the thing is that Adam Smith said that, for example, a country XYZ is there. And XYZ is having advantage in capital. XYZ is the country which is having capital as an input and it is abundance for XYZ country. Okay? Yes. Now PQR is another country. PQR is having abundance in input, for example, raw material. Correct? XYZ is not having raw material. Doesn't mean that XYZ is not going to do business. What XYZ is going to do? XYZ is going to do the full utilization of its abundance resource, that is capital, and XYZ will see that, okay, what I am incurring or how much cost I am incurring in order to produce per unit of my product. If my cost of producing per unit of product is less than PQR, that means I am having absolute cost advantage over PQR from the perspective of capital. That needs to be understood. XYZ is not going to have all these inputs. XYZ is going to have maybe one or maybe two or maybe more than one, but not all the inputs. In that case, XYZ needs to understand that, okay, how much cost I am incurring in order to produce per unit of my final product. And if this cost is less than other countries, then I am having the absolute cost advantage from the perspective of capital. If I am having abundance resource of capital. Navya, if you are not able to understand, you can ask me. If you are not feeling well, you can go outside, freshen up yourself, and then you can come back. Which one you want? Option 1 or option 2? You understood? That is the problem. Then you should go much earlier. Please go. Fine. Is it clear? Absolute cost advantage? Nothing but how much I am incurring cost from the perspective of input in order to produce per unit of output. If it is less than the other country, then I am having absolute cost advantage from that particular abundance of resource.
I think China has this all other countries.
Not necessarily. How come? China is having maybe from one perspective. US may be having absolute cost advantage from another perspective. India or Asian countries are having absolute cost advantage from the perspective of labor, because the Asian countries are having most efficient and skilled human resource. So that is our absolute cost advantage. US may be technology, Japan may be technology, right? So different countries are having their different perspective of absolute cost advantage. Clear it is? Yes.
China has a capital, labor, land.
I don't know. Because as per your WTO, World Trade Organization, Asian countries, they are the best in skilled human resource. Right? Yeah, China again, Asian countries. Capital is always the Western countries.
Now it's
Yeah,
changed.
thought.
Time has changed now.
It's not about time change. It's very general. It depends on the rules and regulations, right?
Capital.
It doesn't depend on
And now
time.
capital is also coming from India also. There are places.
I'm talking about again your absolute cost advantage.
Now-
Is
no,
India
that I-
having the absolute cost advantage from capital?
No.
If India encashes only capital, will India be able to produce per unit of output less than the other countries, Priyanka?
No.
Then is India having capital absolute cost advantage?
India is having capital, but absolute cost advantage is not.
No, we are talking about absolute cost advantage. Why should we talk about India or China is having everything? Doesn't matter. Understand the theory that you need to write. Okay, fine, Sachin. Now, then they have said that another scenario. If input prices are same in two countries, then the country with an absolute advantage in a good will have a lower unit cost of production for that particular. What they want to say? For example, land, these are same. For XYZ, the land price is same. For PQR also, the land price or the land cost is same. Right? So land cannot be the absolute cost advantage for any of them. Right? How come? Because XYZ is also having, for example, 100 square feet. How much it can be, or 1000 square feet?
Yeah.
How much it can be? Length, 1000 square feet. How much it can be?
This is all
Any amount. 1 lakh?
amount.
Okay. Okay, fine. 5 lakhs. So XYZ land value 5 lakhs. PQR same that 5 lakhs. Can XYZ and PQR will be able to say that okay, we are having absolute cost advantage through land?
No.
No. Then they have to find out that okay, apart from land, what else input we can have. For
Overhead.
example, sorry,
Overhead.
overhead. We are not having finance class here. We are talking about simple inputs, Sachin. You just completed your RMD class, leave it there. This is IBD. Okay? Overhead, IBD. I mean, see, IBD is for all, not only for finance. This is simple economics related to marketing, finance, HR, everything. Correct? Yes. IBD is not for finance only. IBD is for HR, IBD is for marketing, IBD is for logistics, for everybody.
Will be my plan.
That Maxwell wanted to remind you. Okay? Done. The thing is that, as I said, you didn't change irrelevant, unnecessary points in between. Okay. Now,
Happy.
XYZ PQR land prices are same. Obviously, that cannot come under the absolute cost advantage. For example, we are talking from XYZ perspective. Land gone. This input you cannot take as your absolute cost advantage. The next input, maybe it is human resource or labor for XYZ. Now XYZ will try to figure out that whether with the help of this particular input, XYZ will be able to produce per unit of output lesser than cost than PQ1. If it is the scenario, then labor will be the absolute cost advantage of XYZ. Clear? If two inputs are same, you cannot say that this is my absolute cost advantage. It might be abundant for you, but you cannot say because some other country also can encash this. In order to remove that, you have to find some other input by which you will be able to produce per unit of output lesser than other countries. If you are able to do that, then that particular second input is going to be your absolute cost advantage factor. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Those who are listening. Now, the third one, A country should produce and export products in which it has absolute cost advantage and import in which it has disadvantage. As simple as that. If I am having absolute cost advantage in human resource, and if I can produce per unit of my output with the help of human resource lesser than other countries, then there is no point of exporting this particular good from other country. Yeah. Now, if I am not having absolute cost advantage in any of the product, and I am finding that okay, I am incurring more and more cost than other countries in order to produce a specific product, in that case, I will import that. What was the earlier scenario in case of microprocessors, right? India was not at all having the absolute cost advantage from the perspective of microprocessor. Rather be it 8085 or rather be it 8086, we didn't have the absolute cost advantage. Fine. Yes, Yogesh, but after the class we'll discuss. Why are you laughing? Okay, now only you want to discuss? After the class you want to discuss? After the class. Okay. Remind me 5 minutes earlier. Now, since 8085 and 8086 microprocessors, India was not having absolute cost advantage. So for a very longer period of time, this was one of the most important imported products for India, right? India could produce. I mean, if you ask me that why ma'am India could not produce at all, India could produce. But it might be the scenario that now I'm getting distracted by Austin. I mean, honestly speaking, what I said in morning, that is going to be the scenario. This week is going to be the last class of mine. After that, I'm definitely going to put a board with directors, sir. Anyways, you are not at all interested in IBD or studying IBD. If they want to stop the class, they can stop the class. If they want to go ahead with the class, some other faculty will come and yeah, they can teach you. Yes. What happened, I'm telling you, no, Priyanka. I said in morning that this week I'm going to take the last class for yours. I do not want to, or I do not like to take this kind of indisciplined class. That is the reason. Now the thing is that you all forgot me, maybe first semester. After that, I didn't take your class, so you all have forgotten that I have some specific rules and I do not like the class decorum indisciplined. That is one thing which I cannot stand. Now, if the scenario going on or goes on like that, then obviously I have to take it back, right? And this is not just because you all are in fourth semester, I am scolding at you. No, it's perfectly all right. I left your juniors class also. 100 times. I left them, they had to go and they had to talk to academics. Only after that I went for the class. Same thing. I mean, discipline should come first for me. Might be possible that you are in fourth sem, but that doesn't make any difference when you are going to be there in corporate. Just because you are in fourth semester MBA students in NSB Academy, your discipline is going to be counted when you will be there in corporate. That's all. Fine. So if this scenario continues, I mean, yeah, till module 4 I'll complete, 5, 6, I don't know. Either someone else will come or, I mean, if academics doesn't want to continue, then I'll give you the materials. But obviously, I'm not going to spend 1 hour seeing indisciplined activities. That's all. Can be very much friendly. Obviously, I say that this batch is very much special for me. I have a good bond with this batch. Doesn't mean that my rules and regulations will not be applicable for you all. Fine. So kindly tolerate me for this 1 week till Saturday. Now, as I say, that, yes, Sachin. Thing is that you didn't grow up that much. How much I saw you in first time, so I know what right now your facial expressions are. It's okay. Now, for example, XYZ is having an absolute advantage in producing a particular product, absolute cost advantage. Obviously, XYZ is not going to export that particular product. Am I making a mistake? Yeah. XYZ is not going to import that particular product, but in case if XYZ having a disadvantage in a particular product, yes, you have to import that. By saying that, actually we took the example of microprocessors, right? I mean, it might be possible that you can ask me, ma'am, cannot or could not India produce microprocessors for so long? India could, but then it might be the scenario that India didn't have any kind of absolute cost advantage in producing microprocessor. If India even would try to produce also, that would incur a huge cost for India. Maybe that cost will be equal to the import duty or the import cost for that particular microprocessor. And then again, since India was completely on the basic R&D level for producing microprocessor, the biggest question was the quality. Since you are talking about such an important part of the electronic accessories, the microprocessor, obviously you cannot take a risk from the perspective of quality. That's why India thought that it's better to import that particular product. Since we do not have any kind of advantage in this particular product, so better import this, right? Same thing happened with semiconductor chip also. India used to import for a long time, but yes, as I said, business or business environment is dynamic. Now it's changed because there is a global shortage even in semiconductors, right? The chips, there is a global shortage. So India cannot rely on the foreign countries for import. Although India is not having absolute cost advantage, but India have to start with its R&D. Now the global shortage has occurred. Maybe after 5 years, there will be no chips available for importing from foreign countries. In that case, you have to take the plan B. That's all. Fine. But at the end of the day, always remember, you are not going to import the product on which you are having the absolute cost advantage. You are going to export that. Yes, in any case, if you find that I'm having disadvantage in this particular product, you can import that. That is also subjected to the business environment. If shortage occurs, if any natural calamity occurs, if any political tension occurs, in that case, you should encourage the R&D activity in order to introduce this new industry in your country. Is it clear? Can I move forward?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. As I said, in order to make effective utilization of the world's resource, international trade is to be boosted. I have made some mistake. These are the points of basis of international trade theories. Yes. Sorry. Same thing what I did. Say it is just written here. Now the second thing, theory of comparative cost advantage. The second theory. It was proposed by David Ricardo. Many of you should have heard the name of David Ricardo. Have you? Finance people. Yes. David Ricardo. Yes.
Latin America.
Father of finance, maybe.
No,
Father of
it's
finance.
not Maxwell that everyone is like father of some other specialization. Right? It's not about his ethnicity. Portuguese, American, British, doesn't matter. He's a person related to your finance, right? Yes, I guess you should then read the Ricardo theory also, especially in international financial management, right? Ricardo's theories should be there. And the thing is that finance students are confused. Being an old person in marketing specialization, I am telling you, right? Sachin? Okay. Now, as the name suggests itself, theory of competitive cost advantage. Definitely, in this particular theory, you are not going to think about the absolute cost advantage. That means you are not going to think about how much input I am giving in order to produce per unit of output. That production, input by output, all those things are for absolute cost advantage. Here you are simply gonna focus on the cost. Now what it is? Saying that each country is specialized in producing some of the commodity in which they are going to have competitive cost advantage. Now what is this competitive cost advantage? Nothing but how much cost you are incurring. Irrespective of your inputs, it might be possible that my specialization is producing this remote. Correct? I am having only absolute cost advantage in human resource. Raw material I don't have, technology I don't have. Those are things I am outsourcing from the foreign countries. But even after outsourcing also, I am able to produce this particular remote at a lesser cost than the other countries. In that case, it is my competitive cost advantage. In absolute cost advantage, we were telling that you have to be very careful with the help of one of the abundant resource, what you are having. You have to produce the product at a lesser price than other countries. In comparative cost advantage, David Ricardo said that, see, you can import the raw materials from other countries. You can outsource. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your final product is going to top. If your final product can be manufactured at a lesser price than other countries, that means you are having the comparative cost advantage in that product. Okay? In case of absolute cost advantage, you are going to have absolute cost advantage in one of the input factors. In case of comparative cost advantage, you are going to have the advantage from the perspective of the whole product, right? I can say that yes, I'm having comparative cost advantage in producing this remotes. Example, which country is having the comparative cost advantage in producing automobile circuit, this car circuit?
Taiwan.
Yeah. Germany is the engine. Germany is engine. Comparative cost advantage. Right? Circuit mainly Japan. Circuit mainly Japan. The comparative cost advantage. Taiwan, their technology is high. But as I said, Sachin, where the cost is less, right? Doesn't mean that apart from Germany, other countries are not able to produce car engines. They can produce. They can produce. But the comparative cost advantage is with Germany. They can produce the final finished product at a lesser price as compared to that of other countries. Clear? Same thing, third point, when you are going to have or the products in which you are having the comparative cost advantage, you are not going to import those products. You are going to export. The products in which you are not having comparative cost advantage, you are going to import those products, right? Circuit, Japan, India also imports, especially for the the recent cars, which are very much technologically advanced cars. India does not make the circuits for those cars. They import it from Japan, right? Same thing, the powerful engines. it is getting imported from Germany, right? Because other countries cost less. Yes,
In India,
manufacturing is different. Cost, right?
Cost advantage.
Cost advantage.
all have manufacturing, but Mercedes.
I never said that apart from Germany, no other country manufactures. I said
BMW.
okay, for you it's India, comparative cost advantage, powerful engines for car. You're right, India. But the main thing is that whether you have understood the concept or not. Just find Sachin, the one who is going to produce or manufactures the finished product at a lesser cost. For you, it may be India. For me, it may be Germany. At the end of the day, what WTO says, that is going to be the final. Fine? Yes? So you write example, whichever country you want to write. You write Bangladesh, I don't have any problem. You write Pakistan, I don't have any problem. I want the theory correctly. Fine? Absolute cost advantage, you have to think from your input perspective. Competitive cost advantage, you have to think from your overall cost perspective. Whether you are incurring less cost as compared to other countries or not. If you are having competitive cost advantage in any of the product, try to export that. Right? If you are having disadvantage, if you feel that okay, the products which I am manufacturing, it might be of good quality, but I am incurring more and more cost. In that case, it might be possible that all the companies are not going to opt for manufacturing. Maximum of the companies are going to opt for importing. Fine? Is it clear? Theory of absolute cost advantage and theory of competitive cost advantage clear?
Yes.
Yes. Your class is till 2:45.
Yes. 3:45.
Sorry, it is 3:45 now. I don't know what happened today with me. I was coming at class at 2:30. Suddenly, then got to know it's at 2:30. Huh?
You.
Manthan, we'll just take attendance. You can. It's like my head spinning after starting checking the copies.
So what's
From morning